On tonight's episode, a buffer-free alternative to restoring vintage chrome, the workspace gets a dramatic upgrade, and a surprise reason why I've had to do so in the middle of winter. Bundle up, it's going to be a cold one tonight. Let's dive in. Okay, I can't remember the last time I purchased something that was given to me in a wooden crate, so I don't really remember how this goes. Luckily, I've got Mr. Bad Cop and Mr. Geneva Suggestions. Let's see if we can make heads or tails of this. Alright. So, let's pry you up and see what's protecting. What are you protecting? What are you hiding? Huh? What are you hiding? Yeah, you want to show me what you got, don't you? What you got? Whole lot of nothing. Do I just pry you up? I guess. If I ever get famous, I know someday I'm gonna get roasted in the comments like, oh, you don't have to keep doing this. You're a f***ing idiot. Yeah, I am a f***ing idiot. This is me being an idiot trying to figure out how to be less of an idiot. It's kind of fun. Una más. Oh, let's crack you open, baby. Let's crack you open. Oh, you open. Oh, yeah, look. Oh, my God. That was far less eventful than I thought it was going to be. Oh, you just cheap plywood. But it matters not what's on the ends, but it matters not what's on the outside. It matters what's on the inside. Oh, hello, beautiful. Now, even with, yeah, you're still heavy as fuck. I mean, do I just hit you with a hammer until the box just comes apart? Do we just choose violence? Is violence I think violence might be the answer right now. Yeah, I think we choose violence. God damn, you were on there. You do not. Actually, I wonder how much what would a box cutter do? What would a box cutter do? Let's just say hypothetically. That'll open it up. Do I really need to do anything? Violence won. Oh, yeah, so. Yeah. Right. Oh. Oh, that's gonna be a bruise. Oh, God. Oh, okay. So this has got all the doohickeys, so this must be the front, so that helps. Now, let's just hypothetically say we remove that little bit and see how How slidey you feeling? Huh? That's just for the laughs. This is probably the closest a middle-aged man gets to feeling giddy on a Christmas day. Oh, yeah. You want to join the world? Come on, baby. That ain't doing much, ain't it? How about, when all else fails, divide and conquer. Whew. On to thinking we can figure this out. What? Are you the Rams? Oh. That ain't working. Right. Right. Are you coming? Where you at? Okay, your hardware. Right. There's like something else under there. Bloody Nora. Stay. This sounds stupid. Should probably. Oh, I did something. All right. I think we are closer than we were 5 minutes ago. Now, what do we do now? Do you want to slide off? Oh, you do? You do, don't you, girl? Ta-da! Why do I feel like I might have to read some goddamn instructions? Ugh! Sharp things! Blah-de-blah. What is in here? Are those the casters? Do I have to install my freaking casters? Do I? I have to do my own god casters. Great. Oh, you might. I have you reversed, don't I? I do. I'm gonna have. Well, no, we definitely need to get some casters on you. Cool. Alright, so I'm gonna need to raise you up, don't I? No better locks than ones that was given to me. Just like I planned. I wish I remembered the guy's name, but back in my 20s during my bartending days, one of the best pieces of life advice I ever received was that if you go out looking for a fight on Friday nights, you're guaranteed to find it. Now, while I don't go out drinking nearly as much as I used to, it appears that when left unsupervised on Facebook Marketplace, I am more than capable of still finding a fight. So that means, sadly, old girl, you are going to be left a bridesmaid again, because this channel has has far bigger fish to fry. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you this 1993 Honda Goldwing GL 1500 Aspencade, or at least a majority of one. I know what you must be thinking. What would motivate a man to want to go motorcycle shopping in late January, let alone drive out of state to the middle of nowhere to pick up a motorcycle that was already pre-disassembled sight unseen? Well, obviously there's only one reason, and it's this. While I can't disclose how much I paid for the motorcycle, I can say that I paid more for the lifted Harbor Freight than I did this entire Goldwing. Now, before I go ahead and start patting myself on the back more often than I already do, don't go ahead and start congratulating me too hearty too quickly because, yeah, this thing's got a couple issues. Whoop, yeah, that's got gas in it. The story about how I came into possession of this bike is a bit difficult to tell because the previous owner, while he was cordial, I wouldn't say he was quite friendly. But for how much of a lowball offer I gave him, I'm not sure if he was the one that accepted the offer or his wife was the one that accepted the offer. So that's also on me. I should have asked. When a man purchases another man's unfinished project, it's usually a good idea to do a post-mortem inspection from the last time this motorcycle ran to where it is right now, and if we're lucky, hopefully find the issue that was the straw that broke the camel's back of productivity. That way, we can hopefully learn what the worst of the worst is, so we can tackle that first, and then everything else should roll downhill until eventually, motorcycle. To me, this bike has a clear-cut case of terminal while I'm at it. And for those of you who are not in the know of while I'm at it, let me put it to you this way. This Goldwing's greatest party trick, the engineering marvel of being able to strap 6 cylinders between your legs and rock it down the road, is also one of its greatest downfalls. Because all of the engine components needed to be able to make this happen are strapped in tighter than an OnlyFans model into a sports bra. There's not much wiggle room. Now, if the rumors are correct that I'm gonna have to drop this engine to replace the AWOL starter, you better believe that any man as crazy and or dumb to be able to put himself through that level of misery is going to want to take care of any other belated maintenance issue that this thing has while I'm at it, because this thing will burn in hell before I ever drop this engine again. Unless I'm putting in something cooler. That would go so far as to explain why the tank is halfway uninstalled, why there's nothing in the clutch lever, the brake lever, and the timing belt is exposed and looking great for its age. Just in case you haven't been keeping track at home, this bike doesn't starty, runny, stoppy, and is also an extremely high risk for SIDS. Boy, do I know how to pick them. So with that being established, why am I so excited to be able to have this in my garage? Well, quite simply put, all of these issues are mostly inconsequential to me. Don't forget, the ultimate goal is to yank all of this out and put a Nissan Leaf drivetrain underneath it. So I've just got a really greasy, dirty, grimy 3D puzzle, and if I can somehow figure it out, motorcycle! But just because this bike has spent a couple minutes in a barn in the middle of nowhere, Washington, doesn't mean that I want to work on a bike that's in this kind of condition. So let's kick it over to my workbench, because I have a secret weapon over there that I love to use cleaning bikes with that frankly is not getting enough attention or respect on YouTube. Now, maybe it was the fact that I was a nightclub bartender in my 20s, or the fact that my first motorcycle had more shine power than horsepower, but I've always been a chrome guy. But in the world of chrome, when it comes to getting the best shine out of something, The only option tends to be getting yourself a big old orbital polisher and just going to town. But let's just say by chance, you don't really have enough room in your Widow workbench for something that big and that specialized. Or, say for example, you didn't want to go through the learning curve on something a bit fragile like a 50-plus-year-old front fender off my CB350, or this 20-year-old piece of Americana, a Cadillac grill for a Goldwing. I mean, come on. We have to get this thing back on the road just for this, am I right? So what is a man to do if he has got a bunch of fragile or intricate chrome pieces that he's trying to restore the levels of shine that'll start attracting the opposite sex again? Well, for that, we got to start thinking like the opposite sex and go to the spa. That's right. Got myself a nice fancy smancy steam cleaner. And don't worry, this isn't any special steam cleaner. I got this freight at a harbor. These unboxing videos are so awesome. Thankfully, Harbor Freight has a fantastic replacement plan. Just ask me why I needed this one. Let's get some water in this thing and let's get down to some business. Shots. Ooh, you a thirsty girl. Open wide. Yeah, you like that. You didn't see that. While this thing starts developing steam, let's go over everything that you're going to need for this. Obviously, get yourself a steam cleaner. I don't care what you get, but obviously, the spicier the better. Also, you're going to need to get yourself a can of Mother's Polish. Anyone who's made anything shiny before knows what this is, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. Finally, you're going to need to go to Costco or the equivalent of whatever it is and get yourself a bunch of terry cloths. Also, you're going to want to wish them well on a suicide run, because you will never be this clean again. Also, since we've got the stock Honda Goldwing grill literally right in front of us, we're going to be using this as the control. And in an effort of transparency and fairness, before we dive into this, we're going to give this thing a little spit shine. Oh, I forgot to. Hold on. One swipe of some Windex, we've already gotten so much out of this already. And I like the fact that I've got a somewhat, well, no, never mind. It's not that high of a bar to clear. But just because this is a bare minimum shine doesn't mean that we can't do so much more with this piece of 2000s nostalgia. Let's make a mess of my Widow workbench. Oof. Oof. Ooh, golly. Look at that. It's about at least 15 years of dust. We've got the same thing. This thing looks fantastic from like 25 feet away. But this is where we're really going to bring things to another level. Now, if I was a prepared man, I would have got myself a fresh can of Mother's Polish. But who of us are prepared men? Part of me feels like I should get some safety glasses for this. And now that I said it, now I have to, because I don't want Murphy's Law biting me in the ass. Now, in terms of secrets, there's not really that much of a secret. Maybe a little bit of science, but don't forget, I'm no expert. I'm just an idiot on the internet. But let me break it down in a way that even this smooth brain can latch onto. Now, while this piece is technically metallic, it is also unbelievably porous. So when you look at all of the surface area of this piece, it's easy to see how so many contaminants can find a home on this metal. What the steam cleaner is meant to do is get in there, warm things up. That way we can open up all of these pores, so when we come in with the polish, we're going to be able to get as best of a bang for our buck as we can. Now when this thing goes on, it's going to be snow white. And when we put this on, we are going to be working this in, and the goal of this is to get this rubbed in until every little speck of white turns black. And the reason that we're going for that is that by the time all of this turns black, this will have soaked up as much contaminants out of the metal as it possibly can. So let's get up to that, or as close as we can, and we'll get to the next step. Now, since we've got all of those contaminants soaked up by the mother's polish, what we're going to be doing is taking all of that off the metal with the steam cleaner. That way we can get a far better clean for when we come in for the next round of polish. So even after just one pass, we have restored so much shine to this grill. And not only that, but we've removed all of the polish from this. That way when we come back with another layer of polishing and buffing, we're going to be able to extract even more contaminants that were previously suspended in the previous way of polish. That way we're not trying to extract contamination on top of contamination. And this is how it makes hand polishing far more efficient than just running around chasing your tail. And that's basically this process in a nutshell. From here, all that's left is re-going over the same area if you're wanting to get an even deeper and vibrant shine, and how much you want to apply on the entire area and the entire bike. But enough of my voice. I know what you guys want. Let's do a time warp again. While the steam cleaner reheats, let's do a bit of an update. Now, while this can be a massive pain in the ass to go ahead and steam clean this thing between every pass, the payoff is the fact that all of these contaminants that were hanging out on this chrome would have had to get sucked up by another pass with your clean rag with your mother's. And so you're getting a double whammy when you polish, getting all of these contaminants sucked into this rag, and then hitting it back with the steam cleaner. That way all of the contaminants that are suspended by the mother's compound that wasn't taken off on the wipe aren't going to hang out on your workbench. That means every time you come back with a new pass, you're getting more and more and more contaminants. This stuff right here is just compound that hasn't been really leached onto that much contaminants. So when we take a little rag to it, it wants to come off as well. I'm going to do a much more thorough cleaning of this as soon as we're done with this ancient can of mother's polish. I'm just trying to see how much shine I can put back in this under the worst conditions before we go ahead and crack open a new can, remove the emblems, and go full bore. But I think the steam cleaner is just about ready, so let's finish off this can and we'll see how far this thing has come. Now call me vain, because there's not a lot of evidence to the contrary. That being said, I see so many bikes today that are being stripped down, that are being de-chromed and debadged because of not wanting to do the maintenance of the chrome. I also can completely understand the reason that people hate on chrome so much. I mean, for God's sake, I'm only halfway through this. And I can't even call it halfway when you think about the fact that I'm still churning up all of this impurity and I can still bring out a little bit more. So I can understand why so many motorcycles are going midnight edition, taking all of this, blacking it out, so they can have more fun and less time driving themselves insane. Well, maybe I'm a bit more pompous and a bit more peacockish, but nothing to me is better than a chromed out, shined out bike. And so this is basically just an experiment to prove what you can really do on a piece that's a quarter of a century old if you just take some time and a little bit of thought and a lot of bit of effort, what you can do. Plus, if you're a guy and you can't understand the value of a hobby that lets you make this kind of a mess, you need to find a different channel, because you're far too innocent for this one. And it's my particular joy in restoring chrome like this that got me thinking. Why do time lapses when ASMR is so popular these days? And so, for the rest of this, I'm going to be filming this as ASMR content. Because hell, if I'm proven right, and this turns out to be popular, if this helps me get the space I need for far more ambitious projects, who am I to judge? Weirdly enough though, it's not the potential treasure trove of chrome cleaning ASMR content that I'm sitting on that has me so excited. It's actually about the benefits it's going to have for my mental health. Because I made a massive mistake asking the universe for a project that has so much wrong with it, it's going to throw me off into the deep end and force me to become competent in an area that I know nothing about but want to become relevant in. And be very careful what you ask the universe for. I should have been asking for a rich, young, dumb nymphomaniac. But here we are. Now, this project is going to have three massive detriments to it. The first one is being spearheaded by an idiot. The second one is that this thing came to me pre-disassembled, so I don't have any reference point to go from. And third, this bike was assembled before most modern conveniences of today have been figured out. I mean, this wiring harness has components for a his and hers CB radio system that's all hardwired. This was before the cordless phone was basically a thing. And all of this terrifies me and excites me all at the same time. I also have a 2-inch repair manual that I'm going to have to start getting friendly with, because it's going to teach me how to drop this engine that terrifies me to my bones, because I've never approached anything that monumental. And so there is going to be times when I feel like I'm prepping for something and not making progress on anything. And so having the ability to go over to my workbench and pour an hour of frustration or anything that might be going on in my brain at that time is going to be far more productive for my brain than any impurities that I take out of that chrome. And that in and of itself is a win in my book. So we're going to dive into the rest of that chrome restoration in the next episode. But for now, I'm Alan Parkway with H2RC Adventures, adventure on every scale.